Welcome back to West Texas View.
This is our last segment of 3 weeks of programs about HIV. It won't be the last time you'll see these two people, because I'm gonna about every 6 months or so invite them to come back. But this time I want us to talk about what you're doing with people who are living with AIDS and how you're supporting them. Well, up until now we've been talking about trying to prevent AIDS through education of parents and children. But now what are you doing with the people, the families that are suffering?
We support them in every way that we can. We are working 24/7. They call us, they have our cell phone numbers. I have a wonderful woman working for me, Lana Edwards, and she's in the office most of the time, and she works a lot with the clients, and they have her cell phone number, they have Preston's, they have mine. They call us weekends, nights. We, as I said earlier in one of the segments, I think, we spent over $62,000 last year helping them with their rents when they could, because they live mostly on disability. Some of them get $600-700 a month. You try living in today's economy on that. They can't. And the problem is Midland's booming. That's great for Midland. Things are springing up all over the place, but also rents are doubling and they're tripling. And the church, one of the churches that we have partnered with all these years, they've put out so much that they've had to go now and say that they can only help an individual every 18 months. Others is say every 6 months. Our clients can't do that. And so we are having to put out more money than we ever have for medicines and rents and everything.
And I can give a good example of this. We had a great couple. They both have HIV and they have 2 children. And they were living in Odessa, actually. And they had gotten sick, but they were going back to work. They're hardworking people, and they were going to both be working. But their rent went from $750 a month to $1,400 in 1 month. And they didn't know what to do. I mean, they would be homeless out on the street. And if you get kicked out of your apartment, then you can't get credit to go somewhere else. You've got this negative mark on your deal, so even when you try to rent again. So, you know, MAAS went over there. I drove over to Odessa, met with the manager of the building, said, listen, we've got to work with you. We'll make this work until we can get them into a new location. So we literally are keeping the family unit together until they could get back on their feet, and we had to just work through those issues.
But even when they get back on their feet, that's a pretty steep thing to pay when you've got all this extra medicine you're buying.
That's right.
It is. I think it's important. I mean, I can list all the services. We have weekly support groups for them. We do free counseling, spiritual counseling if they want it, help with their emergency needs, and have a social a month. We take them out to eat or bowling or something. You know, I can list these services, but I think more than anything, and I think they would all say that and we have a woman that has 5 little boys, and she has gone out and talked about what we have done for her, and she cries, and she says, I go to other organizations, the minute they hear I have AIDS, they don't want to help me. But these people care, and every organization should be like them. That's the thing I'm mostly proud of, is that we love them genuinely. It's not a job to just list the services. Monday night at group, I had only 2 that came, and they were both struggling deeply with issues and forgiveness of themselves and all kinds of things. And I sat there for 2 hours with them in the dark. I've never done that before, but this conversation got so deep about God and forgiveness and everything that we sat in the dark and talked until over 2 hours. And so that is like that woman with the 5 kids says, they care. we are fighting. I tell the kids, I've given 22 years of my life. I'm fighting for you. I'm fighting for your one life. I'm fighting for the Larrys, the Troys, the people who just want to live another day. And while I watch kids go out and risk their lives, not realizing it. So I can't shout from the mountaintop enough because there's no one else out there saying these things to them, and their parents don't know it. But I tell them, I am fighting for you because you matter. You matter, they matter. But you've got to sit there and you've got to ask yourself, how much does your one life matter to you? Because you're the only one that can protect it. You're the one that's going to be in that car, wherever it is, and that will have to make that decision and say, yes, I will, or no, I won't. And if you don't love yourself, if you're not your own best friend, if you're not proactive about your one life and your one future, and if you don't care about your families, then why would you make a good choice?
Yeah,
You know?
right.
And I'd like to add, since we've been here for 3 weeks and we're getting to the end here, that MAAS needs, we've been blessed with the community support, but we don't get federal or state funding. And last year we taught over 27,000
27,000
individuals,
lives touched.
mostly youth. We have over 300 clients now, and we handed out over $62,000 last year. It'll be more this year. And if you average it at $100, you know, it's almost 2 a day, where you're having to personally get the bills, access this, and poor Lana in the office is just working day and night. Judy works 24/7, 7 days a week. We need your help. Like I said, we're in the paradox of an oil boom, which just means we have more people, more clients, more need,
Less resources.
less resources, and it's such an emotional, draining job that, you know,
You need volunteers.
she's Superwoman. I don't know how she gets it, because
Listen, we have another Superwoman in the office.
Yeah, Lana,
I'm
that's
so
what I
blessed
said.
to have you, and I'm so blessed to have Lana Edwards.
But especially people that understand the AIDS picture. I hope that you have had an opportunity to get better immersed in this subject. And as I said, we're going to ask them to come back regularly, but also please call that number that rolls across your screen and ask them for information. We're going to be back next Sunday with another program. Thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you, Judy and Preston. It's been a great pleasure to have you here. We'll see you next Sunday.
Thanks for joining us for News West 9's West Texas View with Johnny Lou Avery. This has been a public affairs presentation of KWAB TV and KWES TV.